So I'm thinking
Testing.
purpose of this is to have fun for myself, but also for you as the viewer, fellow artist, to kind of get some art going for yourself, or just to kind of watch. Or it doesn't even matter what I'm drawing. If you just want to feel like you have somebody you're drawing with, that's cool too. I don't know what to draw, so I'm just gonna just dive right in.
All right.
So, I do hope everything is great for you. Life for me seems to be going pretty well, despite all the difficulties. You know, I saw a funny clip from Dr. K's stream, and if you don't know who Dr. K is, he's a professional mental health psychologist, doctor, fellow person. And in the clip, it was like, "Are we a cult?" Because he runs this whole like healthy gamer Twitch stream where they kind of have coaches and that kind of way of running things, and they kind of joke around about it being a cult. And obviously, it was just kind of a joke. But in the comments, someone said, it's definitely not a cult, but it is a huge, massive parasocial relationship. And kind of got me thinking. If you don't know what parasocial is, I don't know if I have the best definition of it. But I have a slight idea. It's this kind of idea where there's obviously many social media people out there in the world, and many of them have audiences and followers. As the follower or the viewer, or being a member of the audience, you almost feel like you have a direct connection with that streamer or social media person. Almost like you know so much about them, and it's almost like you're on a personal level with that person, especially if you watch them for hours upon hours during the day, whether playing games or just chatting, whatever, or just YouTube videos like mine, where it's just me kind of doing my thing. Anyway, but there's this kind of weird connection there, and they're calling it a parasocial connection, where you know me, but I don't know you. And you might even think you know me, or you know the streamer, or you feel like they're kind of like a personal connection. And in your mind, you might build up this kind of mental model of who you feel and think that person is. And so for me, that could be good or bad, but I think it might lead to, I guess, confusion, wishful thinking, delusion, all that stuff. I guess the reason I was thinking about that, and the reason I'm bringing it up, is that I have, a lot of content on here. I'm pretty open about a lot of things. But, and to the point where a lot of people, even at Lightbox in person, come up to me as if they kind of already know me, because they do, or they know a big part of me. And, and it's just like, they talk to me as if we've known each other for so long, which is great. That's fine. And I'm not really complaining. It's just interesting that from my perspective, like, I don't know who you are. And, in such a way that, like, it's a beautiful thing, but it's also like a one-way street situation, where when it comes to personal connection, at least, and I know most people, or a lot of people, do understand that it is just all online, and the person you think you know is just another person. And so I guess I just want to clear some things up. I'm certainly, without a doubt, not a perfect person. I mean, I literally have videos titled "I am a flawed person," and so if you do have an idea of me, just keep in mind, not just me, but with all social media people or all personalities that you kind of come across online, that they're also just people. And I don't think it's a good idea to idealize an image of someone in your mind. It might help to kind of have that kind of image to build up a sort of goal to have, which is fine. But I don't know. What I'm trying to say is I'm just a person. One person sketching and trying to talk at the same time. So yeah, that's a pretty big important thing, and it's such a new thing too. I guess back in the day, sure, there were media personalities and pundits and news anchors and all that, and even celebrities and stars and whatnot. But now with the internet, there's this kind of like direct connection, and it's a bridge from them to you, where you can now interact with those people, whether it's through chat, comments, likes, dislikes, whatever. It is a new interaction that humans have now as a civilization, where we can almost feel like where everyone is part of the conversation. And in a way, that is the case, but I think it may lead to delusional assumptions and like I said, kind of like a wishful thinking kind of thing, where your heroes are these perfect beings, and if they don't live up to what you wanted them to be, suddenly your world is shattered. So I don't know. It's especially if I was really young and looking for a kind of connection with people, and if I already had a hard time at school with making connections, which I did, I could totally see myself getting caught up in that and feeling like, hey, this is my way of finally connecting with the world, and isn't it so great that the person I am connecting with also plays the same games or has the same interest in art and stuff, almost as though that person is fulfilling the unmet needs that I would have had. And there's a sort of dependency I would see emerging from that. Like this person online is now, in my mind, going to have the responsibility of living up to accommodating those unmet needs. And therefore, when they don't do that, things get very messy. So yeah, I don't know. For whatever position you are in, either the parasocial position or in a place of understanding and realizing this is, I don't know you, and I mean, I know some of you, obviously, but the goal in my mind,
Damn, you are
for
remind
all
me I
of
need to
this
get back.
is that
It's so
you find a
worth
way to
it, bro.
humanize the other
This is
person.
like therapy for me.
Because, dehumanizing people
How are you today, bro?
might
Bach,
seem
back.
like it's just
I don't want to
rude
say it with an
and kind of
accent and then be completely wrong.
belittle them and see them as insignificant and not worth your time and uh, unworthy of human rights, that kind of thing. And that's a bad thing. But another way people are dehumanized is when we idolize them as literal statues and idols of perfection. That is another form of dehumanization. And if you can find a way to, I guess, undo that, if you find yourself stuck in that mindset or mind frame,
Bro, I
it would be
get it,
ideal.
man. I get it. Oh my God. I didn't want to draw
I
today,
don't think
dog.
anyone wants to be seen. Well, I'm
Like
sure
that
most
crash
people
out
would
is
love to be
real. Like
seen as
yesterday, I was
these
going through that same
special,
thing, man. I was like,
godly beings who are
hold on,
so
let me
above
pause the
everybody.
music. Like, bro, trust me, you are not alone. Like yesterday, I was like, bro, I do not feel like drawing. But you got to push through it, bro. Trust me. I think once you do it, then you're gonna be like, bro, this was so worth it. Because it's therapy. It's genuinely therapy. That's progress. You want to know, like, when you say like you made the progress and then you crashed out for a month, the reason why you crashed out is because you made such a huge leap in progress that your eyes now have to catch up with your hands. Oh well, no, my bad. Yeah, your eyes have to now catch up with your hands. And now that your eyes caught up with your hands, it kind of they never match at the same time. It's like, okay, now my eyes are better. So now I see art better. And now I look at my stuff and I'm like, bro, I thought I had got better. You did get better. You just your eyes have gotten better. Now you can see those mistakes where you couldn't see them before. My mentor used to tell me that, and I was like, oh shoot, that actually makes sense. Because drawing is it's hand-eye coordination. You know you'll feel better. Facts, bro. Fucking facts, dog. You are not alone, man. I ain't going for hours about how stressful that shit is sometimes. But shit, if I want to make this a career, if I don't feel like drawing, that don't mean nothing. I am trying to be a professor. I want to teach this stuff, man. I realized everything else, like character design or like, those different art jobs, I know I would hate it because I don't like drawing for people. But if I could teach it, then I can draw what I want and teach people, how to do it. Now, I need you to get back to drawing, man. That's kind of why I do these streams too. Draw along, bro. Like, draw along. Let's go. That's what I'm fucking talking about. All right, perfect. I got somebody to draw with. I love fucking drawing with people, bro. Yeah, I actually have. I've taught three people. One person, is my little brother. And man, if I could show you the progress, bro, he's made big, big strides. Like he's really good now. Like that's how I know I love teaching is because I've taught people before and I've seen the progress. Excuse me, I apologize.
mean, I've certainly had moments like that where my ego
Yeah,
is
let's
just
get
like
some drawing, man.
wanting me to be seen as that. But that's just a compensation for
Because every time I
insecurities
draw, I try to
and
explain it to
my
myself when
own
I'm
unmet
drawing. So
childhood needs kind of thing. But I
might as well
think
get paid to do
self-awareness is
that,
key.
right?
Taking a step back, seeing where you are, and moving forward. Anyway, that was just right at the tip of my mind, so I decided to talk about that. But let's move on to another thought. I had a friend here who was struggling to find purpose, well, not purpose, but a willingness and motivation to post online or create artwork. And it kind of boiled down to perfectionism. And I think I'm going to probably do a separate video on this, kind of diving into this a little bit more in depth with charts and, studies and stuff. But because from his point of view, what it felt like, and I was definitely going through the same thing, what it felt like was, in order to share something with the world or make a piece of art, it's as though you're kind of backstage at some kind of presentation thing. Imagine like America's Got Talent or American Idol or whatever, Sweden Idol, whatever. Basically, there are judges out there or friends or whatever, but you're going to go up on stage and you're going to present this thing to the world.
Alright, so
And just
my mom was knocking on the door.
by thinking that,
So highlight on the nose.
Of course we want to make something cool, something good, naturally. There's nothing wrong with that. Because you don't want to let people down, or you want to show your best version of yourself, and you want to put your all in there. And so that could be good, but it could also be bad. Because if you're backstage and a thing you're about to present, or that you want to present, is in your hands, it's in front of you, you're working on it, you're trying to make it perfect, you're trying to make it beautiful, you're trying to whatever. It's as though you're trying to polish this golden egg and make it perfect. And this is an analogy and metaphor for anything. It could be before you post on Instagram, before you send your portfolio to a studio, before blah, 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 anything. And so if you're a perfectionist like myself and like my friend, you end up putting extremely high standards and a high bar on the thing you do, which is fine from a production design standpoint. But the problem with that is you have this one egg, this one shiny golden egg that you're sitting there polishing, and then you're frantically noticing mistakes and like, oh, this is a flaw, oh, this is really bad, I didn't learn perspective yet, I should have used this program, I should have used that reference, oh, look at that artwork over there, that's so good, it's so much better than mine. I'm gonna actually like not go up on stage, I'm gonna stay behind here, I'm gonna start over and I'm gonna try it again and make it better. And then you try again on this new golden egg and like, okay, it's a little better. Oh my god, no, wait.
That's like
it's still not as good as I want it to be.
So
Screw this.
Like a flat
I'm gonna keep polishing this egg. I'm gonna keep focusing on it. It's gotta be perfect. It's gotta be perfect. It's gotta be perfect. And
no.
And I'm sure you know what I'm talking about if you're a perfectionist. But the problem with that
highlight catches
is that prevents you from actually making your best work. And here's why. I believe in the book Art of Fear.
Out, see what I'm
Art
doing.
and Fear. Let me just grab it. This book, Art and Fear: Observations on the Perils and Rewards of Art Making by David Bales and Ted Orland. I just recently tried to start it again because every time I start reading it, I like find something that's like, oh my god, I need to sit and think about that, and I'll write about it. And that's as far as I got. And I've had this book for years. So there's a lot of golden nuggets, but there's my friend Theo, who recommended this, told me about this idea, this chapter in there. It could be a different book, but I'm pretty sure it's this one, where this teacher at an art school
All right.
was teaching a ceramics class, I believe.
So now
and he told
values on
two
this side
different
would get
groups
a
of
little bit
students
darker.
to do
Oh no,
two different
wrong
things.
thing.
So group A was told their grade for their class that they get will be based on the amount of ceramic pots or clay pots that they make. So the more you make, the better your grade is. Doesn't matter how good, doesn't matter how bad, as long as you make as many as you can. Group B was told
Trying to get some darker values in
grade
the light
will depend
halftones
on
because there's
one
still
pot or one
planes
ceramic
turning
clay
away
thing that you submit,
from
and it has to be
the light.
your,
Not trying to
your
get too
best,
dark.
most carefully designed and perfected design at the end of the semester, and you'll submit it. And so my
Just
assumption
trying
was
to
that
get these
group
values
B,
to be
the students who had to perfect it and just submit one,
clear.
would have a better result. But what ended up happening is, in the first group, where all
To
they had to do
indicate
was
these
just keep
forms are
making
turning.
a whole bunch,
Using a mixture of
they
painting,
weren't
not
really
painting,
concerned
but
with
yeah, maybe painting.
trying to perfect things. And the first batch that they did, of course, was not very good.
Really just using brushes.
But towards the end, after making so many, the ones towards the end were actually better than the group B assignment, where they had to make their best one. So what that tells us is the thing you're looking for will be a result of action
I
over
want to
time,
make it look like this form
by
is turning in on
repetition, by
itself.
exploration, and not putting that pressure
So
on
I'm
yourself
going
to make
to-
it perfect. It's kind of like, let me just do it like this. So if you're watching the screen, let's say this is your timeline of, wanting to make a perfect thing.
Away
Like,
from
we
the
all have
light.
ideals. We all know what looks good to us when we see beautiful artwork or stories that we love.
Away from the light.
And because that ideal is floating there, if you're a perfectionist, it's a very heavy
Oh,
ideal.
shoot,
It's
that's what I
weighing
meant to do.
down on what it is that you want to make, right? And so here in this timeline, this progress bar, each block represents a new thing that you do. And so when you introduce the first thing that you do, like, okay, I'm going to make this perfect thing. Let's say that's a little golden egg.
Give it a little
And
dark
as you're
value
doing
right
it, you
here
keep
just to show
measuring
the
it against this
plane.
thing, this ideal, this perfect ideal. And because of that, and because you know what looks good and you know what looks bad,
this.
you take your thing and you compare it next to that, and like, oh my god, this is horrible, this is bad, this is bad. And then you just end up giving up. It's demoralizing. And then you're still stuck here, right? And then you try to look at it
So
again and
this
make it
is
perfect,
definitely a
perfect,
softer
perfect, perfect,
edge.
trying to get this result, and it just feels rigid, stiff,
This is a harder
boring,
edge.
forced. You hate it. You hate every second of making it, and the result is just pure suffering. At least for me, that's group B. Whereas, let's look at it in a different light. If, sure, you have the ideal, and it might be multiple ideals, like different styles, different stories, different feelings, color palettes, different tools, whatever.
Gotta have this
You might have
turning
those ideals floating up there.
a lot
But
softer. I mean, a
if
lot.
that's not your intent,
harder.
and your intent is instead to just create,
Like make that transition a
over
little
time,
more
by
prominent.
doing this, doing that, doing this, and then, some of the pieces that you do start to kind of peak up above that threshold and say, oh, that one was really good. But then I got bad again. Oh, this one was really good too. And what ends up happening is, over time, you'll have these peaks of
Bro,
glimpses into things looking really good.
see what he's saying?
Realize it happening.
That's literally what I just said. That's literally what I was just saying. I don't know if you're still in here or not. But this is literally what I was just saying. Is that I think it's because whenever you draw, bro, you start getting like so attached to what you just drew.
But the key here is the willingness to do bad. It's okay. This is bad. It's okay. It's like getting better. Oh, that one's really good. Oh, it's bad again. But by not focusing on always trying to make that first piece or the first few pieces perfect and ideal before you put it out there, you give yourself room to do the necessary bad ones so that overall on the graph there's an upward trajectory towards quote unquote the ideal. So
that's fire, bro. If you want, you can share what you drew on my Discord.
A couple weeks ago,
it's no pressure. Please don't feel pressured into
something
it.
To draw for the YouTube video.
You just want to draw for yourself. That is completely fine as well.
I would have been in this mindset. I got to find the right reference.
But I know once I say that, then they're like, "Oh man, all right. So now I got to be
make
like
sure
this
everybody's
beautiful
happy with
thing
what they're seeing." Blah blah blah. I want to use the right, I guess, lighting and perspective or whatever. And then I would have overanalyzed and overthought all the aspects of it, causing this creation to be frustrating. But now in this mindset,
that is way too dark right there.
I'll just be like, whatever it is what it is. And I could do 1,000 of them.
And I can also
being okay with, that's a pretty decent drawing, but if it was bad, to be okay with it is the goal. As opposed to looking at this and saying, well, I didn't sit there and
small
get reference for the clothing.
Because I want that nose to really design it perfectly. Out, even though
it's not good enough. Erase it all and start over. That would be this mindset. And so,
how can I do that? How can I make this nose
try not to focus too much on making your first batch
slightly go darker,
or actually any of them. Try not to make them
on the edges
measured against the ideal. That's not to say, you shouldn't try really hard and study the ideal artworks that you love, because that's very necessary to look at those works and try to learn from them. But the unnecessary part is, the process of hating yourself and just being miserable because your work doesn't.
We'll see. All right. Yeah. Don't pressure yourself.
So in a way, give yourself permission to do this in the face of the demand to do that, because it certainly helped me. And I've felt this a lot recently with the videos on Wednesdays, where I'm doing the reference Wednesdays, because I don't really have a choice in terms of what image is going to be randomized in that program that I'm using called gesture drawing. All I do is select the folder, and it's almost like trusting the RNG or the universe
to just
to
be smoother.
Present something. And me as an artist, I'm like a funnel. So here's a funnel.
Wait.
And the universe, let's just draw a little star, a little sun, some nebulae.
Blend this.
Here's a black hole. Here's stardust. Here's gravity doing its weird thing. Whatever. The universe, those are stars, far away, informs my experience as a human, and whatever that stuff is, if I try to force it to be something specific, that's one thing. If I let it be whatever it will be, that's another. This is me. This is you. This is you as an artist. Whatever goes in, you can interpret, and that is your art.
I don't need this.
Now, you might say, well, I don't want to draw what's in front of me. I don't want to,
let's see what I can keep.
Let the universe define what I do. So that's also another way to think about it. Let's say the universe gives you this. You as an artist say, I don't want, X.
That.
And so you want to do B, right? Even that is an interpretation of what the universe is showing you. Your rejection of whatever it's kind of putting in front of you, whether it's music, people fighting, or witnessing some insects, outside or something. it's just a starting point. But trusting that you don't have to be in control of absolutely everything just to match an ideal, and trusting the universe to give you stimulation or stimuli for you to create things is kind of
Excuse
like
me.
a relief. It's putting all the weight onto that as opposed
My
to
phone ringing?
trying to polish that golden egg. And you don't have to be all cosmic and spiritual about anything. It's just you as a person. You don't have to be so hard on yourself. Because I've been there. We've all been there. So I was recording content for my digital painting course for painting heads and faces and concept art for that stuff. And I thought it would just be, yeah, I know the stuff, I'll just record it, easy, no problem. But as I'm doing it, I've been talking about it for so long,
Put a highlight right
I
here
discover
on that
that
chin.
I don't
It's
know as
getting
much as I
caught.
thought I did. Because in my head, I'm like, yeah, I know the concepts of a skull. And then when I go to actually explain it, I'm like, hold up. There are so many details that I completely overlooked before. And so it's been a really nice kind of invigorating new learning experience. Like, did you know that this little thing is on the back of the skull? Like, what is that? I've always ignored it.
Pick my marker
This is the
sharp
Proco skull, by
just
the
to
way.
get a smoother transition.
And this is like
because
an egg
it's
shape. We
too-
know that.
It's turning too quick.
But the egg shape in the cranium kind of intersects the mandible here about
It
halfway.
does have a soft face,
kind of
even
like where
though
the
some
teeth
of her
are. So
features are a little
if
bit
you drew, God, it's just
hard.
completely random. If you have the egg shape and you want to know where the jaw is, well, at the very least, if you have this intersecting something halfway, here's the halfway point, that can kind of give you where the jaw is.
There's
right?
my line. I think I can merge it
Crazy.
now. And then
You got
lose
the,
those
cheekbone.
edges as
So the
it's merged.
cheekbones,
So let's
because
see.
I'm doing a lesson where it's simplifying all the shapes of the skull so that it's easy to remember and makes everything else easier for painting, lighting, and,
okay.
and
Before I do that,
understanding where the shadows fall and stuff. The cheekbone is probably the hardest thing to simplify as basic shapes, because I could say it's just like a box, like a rectangle that goes through. But there's this curvature.
I gotta lighten some of this
that
up.
makes it so confusing, and it's also an angled curvature from this angle. And then
It's coming
I
out.
don't get into the complexities of this stuff, which you could, but yeah. Anyway, back to drawing.
Yeah, pull this eye out and then have some bounce light in here. Ooh, that's too bright.
I don't know if you can hear the birds outside. It's kind of nice.
Maybe get this eye a little brighter, have it stand out from that dark. I don't mind adding a highlight in here, even though I don't want it to be too bright.
Yeah.
No.
Don't polish the
What just
golden egg.
happened? So annoying. Okay.
Yeah, I recently had a talk with my good buddy Steven Zapata. And his content, by the way, is getting really nice. I mean, it already was, but I think he just recently passed over
those
30,000
highlights,
followers. He's growing fast.
I get caught
But,
in eyelid.
He posted a video a couple weeks ago, and it sort of reminded me of what you can do as a orator or narrator or YouTuber, whatever.
That's a little bit better.
So I was like, he's stepping up the game. I gotta get on that. So I remember for my next video, the Medcast, the recent one, I wrote out a script and kind of put my thoughts on there, and it was good. I had a good time, and people really resonated with it. But there was this one comment that was like, wonder why you're trying to copy Steven Zapata. And I think my way of speaking and cadence is very similar to his, and there's a reason for that. Back at Art Center, I could not speak or give a presentation at all. It was just bad. And he went up to do his presentations and just killed it. It was entertaining, very smart, eloquent. He could weave beautiful narratives out of thin air. And I'm like, dude, teach me. And so we traded. I showed him a couple tricks here and there for painting, and he taught me
possibly
what he
merging
knew
too
from
soon,
theater experience.
We ball.
Being in theater in high school, and as well as just his ability to construct narratives, and he reads a lot. So yeah, it makes sense that the way I speak and the way I wrote that is very similar to his.
Why do I have it like
that?
Hold
Oh
on.
man, crap! I'm just copying him. Then I talked to him, and we talked about that, and he's like, no, it's not valid, not a valid criticism, because we had that trade.
There we go.
Back in the day, and I'm like, oh yeah. He's very good at talking. He's probably one of the best in the world, man. Coming up with
Can I make that lighter?
an arrangement
Why
of
is that
words
there?
that can kind of paint an
I don't
image
like
in your
it.
mind and make you feel things. It's a very powerful tool. And there was this other comment, it was mostly good comments, of someone saying that it was BS, all this flowery, poetic, haiku, whatever BS. I'm like, about the social media metaphor I was talking about, where I described social media as this
Take this off.
swirling dome of madness that you want to escape. And I'm
This
thinking,
don't
like,
mean nothing.
yo, first of all, chill. It's just a metaphor. Kind of feel bad for that kind of outlook.
Take this off for sure. That's confusing the hell
Because
out of me.
obviously very helpful for people, as well as myself, to kind of look at things like that and take a breather and walk away from social media from time to time. But it doesn't bother me. I just laughed. I laugh. It would have bothered me way more in the past when I was far more insecure about my position in the world. But we all good now. God, what is she doing? It's like she's about to lay an egg. We're gonna just change that. She could also be like riding on a broomstick.
We're merging.
Like a witch. I really like the flow of the hair, where it's kind
So
of
now,
orienting on the surfaces of
define.
these shapes.
man, I can't wait to get faster.
Oh yeah, I
Shit.
was watching Ergo Josh video about the three-letter words that I probably won't talk about just yet because I'm sort of observing right now. But I commented like, hey, we got to have a calm voice battle where
I want to make
like a
this
voice off
area turn
challenge. He has a very common voice.
Even though it is facing, let's see. Let's figure this
But
out.
I challenge him to a duel. Bring forth your calmest voice. Yes.
Alright.
I don't understand
Step back, let's look at what the hell
what's
going
going on fully.
Oh wow,
That
we
whole
said that at the same
situation, by
time.
the way. Looks like a weird war that came
Highlight.
out of nowhere.
Get that depth.
Pick a side, pick a side. Just like, if you're not with us, you're against us. All right, dude. Let's calm down.
Great. Light catches here.
I think that's
Soften.
another moment or another subject.
Definitely soften
regarding
this.
I'll just say it, the NFTs. Like, in a way, we seem to be dehumanizing each other depending on your stance on it. And I would love, ideally, obviously, I know it's not really a realistic
I see all that detail inside.
thing to have,
Like
but
all in this
we
area.
can just
This area.
take a step back.
Well,
Whatever your stance is, whatever your
like I
justifications
see all that
are, but just
bounce
remember
light
that
and
the
stuff
person you're
happening
screaming
there.
at
I don't care
or
about it.
disagreeing with or whatever, they are people too.
It doesn't matter. Awful British accent.
And it seems like it's one of those things where, sure, there's
Just want
surface
to
reasons
make
for
the bigger shapes read.
your justifications or resentment or whatever, but a lot of us just have deep-seated problems that surface and then use the guise of, morality and whatever to push people down and blame them for our own problems.
Trying to make that.
Such is human nature. Such is the nature of most living things, crabs in a bucket, etc. But again, I'm not declaring one side is right and wrong, whatever. Just making an observation on the lack of humanity that happens in these situations.
There we go. Yeah, that's too sharp.
And
what layer?
I'm not trying to claim I have some kind of moral high ground, or that I'm better, or that other people are better, or you're lesser if you believe this or that. At the end of the day, we're just artists.
Facts. We are just artists.
Certainly do take care to try to leave a positive thing in the world and not destroy it. But that's not just with...
I want to separate this. I want that to look like it's,
I guess,
on its own plane. Is that on the right layer? No, it's not.
ecological standpoint.
Great.
But also not burning bridges because you're caught up in a moment,
Let's see. How can I make this eye?
But I do have faith. I'm pretty optimistic
Maybe
that there
it's
are
just too
sensible
sharp.
people left in the world who are not enraged
Yeah, I think it's just too sharp.
over things
And then I can add a cast
to the point
shadow.
where they want to burn people at the stake.
New layer. Give it some depth. Depth. The English language. Possibly not the best. Okay, so I
quick
want
tip
this
for
lit.
shading stuff. So right here I have this strand of hair, and I want that kind of effect where it's kind of shiny. But the question is, where do I put that highlight? Because I could put
I
it
can
in the
gradiate.
middle or on the third or something. But what I'm going to allow
I want
to
her lip
dictate that
is
location
definitely
is
lifting
what's
off
going
that
on
plane a
behind it.
little bit.
So
It's more
in
subtle
this
than
sphere, where
most
this
lips would.
bottom half is darker, it's a great opportunity to use that highlight to contrast against that darkness, and vice versa. Where it's brighter in the background, on the hair, I'm going to make it darker. So, because if I shaded it as being dark here, it'll blend in with that part of the background. I don't want that. So I'm going to go along and look for another opportunity to make it dark against a white background right there.
Oh.
And now suddenly it always stands out as opposed to kind of merging. You don't always want to do that and make everything stand out at all times in every spot, but you can be strategic as to where those focal points are.
Nice. Have this whole area read as like one. Please be on the right layer. I am not. Have this fade. Oh shoot.
I have my window open. I don't know if you can hear that helicopter, but it's kind of nice to get that sense of spring.
This stuff really
helicopters
takes
represent
time.
Spring. No, that's not what I mean. Having the windows open. The unfortunate thing about being in the Midwest here in Ohio, especially after living in California and coming back here, is that the weather is so weird. It's never, it won't commit. It has commitment issues. Last week it hit like 65 and 70. It was kind of nice. It's like, oh, okay. All right, we've transitioned into spring. Daylight savings happened on the clocks. Okay, good signs. And then just 2 days ago or 3 days ago,
Look and see if it really made a difference.
It dropped down to 25 degrees and it was snowing. What? Thanks, Ohio.
Merge.
SMH. SM to the H.
I think I found the hack. Excuse me.
Cynics made a hilarious April Fool's video where he did paint over pals, and he did one of almond tandoori.
Oh, okay. All right.
And it was
so how do I want
something I
his
sent him?
forehead
He was
to
asking
read?
like, "Hey, is there anything that you have on hand that I could use?" Yeah, sure. Take this. It's a work in progress. It's like, oh, that's perfect. And this paint over was hilarious. I actually started changing my piece to take those crits. You pretty much changed the whole thing.
Let's see if I add.
And just for fun, I'm actually doing it.
I'm delirious, I am.
Oh man, so I'm looking at my sketchbook at an angle because you know, having it on the table so that the camera can see it. It looks different to me from my angle than what I'm seeing on the screen. That's funny.
Blend. Lots of blending.
So I gotta remember that.
Alright, let's
I think you're gonna be slightly skewed.
Once I add
Nice if
those
we could just have some
eyebrows,
kind of hovering, floating, like window, and it's showing what's being recorded, and
it'll
you can angle
definitely
it at any
look
angle,
more like her.
any focal length, any zoom, and you can make it transparent so you don't have to worry about, you know, a camera floating here, because I can't knock it with my head if I, you know,
Softer,
actually see my
that
drawing.
edge is too strong.
Or another idea would be
How do
like
people just feel the
super
need to
high
like try to open my door?
definition glasses, recording what I'm seeing from my point of view. That'd be awesome. In fact, I'm gonna look into that. Maybe there is a thing like that already.
It's just a matter of focusing on what you gotta do, and sometimes, you know, you just have to just relax and go with the flow. Things always have a way of working out, man. Just focus on what you gotta do, and you know what I always say.
When I was at the coffee shop today,
You have to do something you never did.
um,
You have to take time.
there was a lady there with her corgi
Tomorrow's not promised to anybody.
waiting for her drink outside. And I was sitting outside, just writing my plan for the day. And a car pulls up, and all you hear is, "Oh my God, is that a corgi? Okay, we're gonna pet you soon." And like, I thought maybe she knew
Eyebrows
the
are
person
fun.
with the dog, and then these
All
two
you gotta do is
other women come out
add
and like,
like a
"Hi,
black.
okay, can we hi, can we pet your dog?" And then she's like, yeah, sure. Oh, he's so cute. What's his name? Oh my God, hello. And then one of them like sits on the floor or the ground, and this dog was just having
Had like a black spot
blast. It was like, yes, this is what life is
of
about.
value.
And it started
Am I on a new
like
layer?
jumping
Oh,
and,
thank God.
you know, licking their faces and like, you know, squirming, and it was a funny
One
little
thing
moment.
really quick.
The dog's name was Tubby. I laughed. It was good. I like it. I'd like to abandon it to do something else, though. Here's the dilemma in a sketchbook. It's
see.
like, we got this drawing. I like it. And then there's this other real estate. It's like, well, I could just start something new, something random. But then the question is, do I allow it to impede on this design, or should I design something as a part of it, as an illustration? And but it is just a sketchbook, so if I wanted to, I could do all that.
Gotta remind myself,
I'm good.
keep pushing. This is how it usually comes out. This is how it will come out. It's just you gotta go through that ugly phase where you're just figuring shit out. Cause right now I'm just figuring shit
Yeah,
out.
I know. I think I'm a bit behind. I wanted to post this video on Saturday just to have a consistency, but I got really caught up with some stuff.
Definitely got her eyebrows raised a little, but I don't want to overdo it.
Unfortunately, stuff like recording the course, but also playing Bloodborne. Yo, dear Lord, what a game!
I'll
I think I
never
was meant
understand the
to
hype over Bloodborne.
wait until now to play it, because when I
Games
first
are
bought
supposed
it
to be
like
fun, not
6 years
stressful.
ago, when I was still working at
The game
ArenaNet
is stressful.
as a concept artist, nice flex, buddy. I got the game because it looked cool. But not having ever played a Souls
Make
game
sure
or
I'm
anything
looking
that's
back.
that difficult or
Don't gotta be
you know,
perfect.
seemingly difficult at least.
Woody.
I hated it. I was like, this is the dumbest thing. Why would I waste my time trying to learn like all these moves and fight the bosses and read all this stuff? I'm not gonna read. Just give me something simple like Overwatch. And so yeah, I spent a lot of time just playing simple games, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But then after some time, and then witnessing my buddy Steven Zapata describe his love for this game, kind of was a nice little kindling of a fire within to say, hey, maybe there is something here. And
I think I might have found a hack if
aside
I
from it
play
being
music.
difficult, which is fine, you can always get good and figure out patterns
While the
and
video is playing,
develop
it'd be
dexterity
good.
and all that.
What is that?
But the world building, dear Lord, it is something. It's such a masterpiece of world building,
That nose, man.
and it's amazing to see that because it's like this.
It don't feel like a
the
shape,
creators behind this
that's being lifted up.
somehow
I know why.
have had their personal, I guess, permission in themselves to just do that.
I've got to trust
And that to me was a nice
my
creative
edges.
insight to, I guess,
I'm not trusting
if
Anna
you're to
having
pursue a passion
separated it
project,
enough.
it is possible.
Which plane would be darker?
And
They're both
you know,
facing
the
the
lore,
same.
the backstories, the
Coming
vibes,
out
the
more.
secrets, the alternate
Hmm,
endings,
That's a good question.
the different bosses, and all the enemies. It's not just copy and paste. Like each one has its own novel design to it,
Hmm.
for the most part, and it's intended that way. And so, yeah, I'm still very much a noob, but it has been very eye-opening. I'm not even that far into the game. I'm at the
Pray that you fall
Bloodstarved
in
Beast.
love.
And I know sorry to derail, but I know I could just use the cheese method using the pungent blood cocktails, which I'll probably just do that. But I'm like, I want to do it without that. I want to get good, and you know,
The hell.
I've seen people fight the beast without using the cheese method, and I was fighting Jura,
Ooh, I see something going
the
on with
Gatling
those
gun
lips.
dude in the old Yarnum. Spoiler warning. And I kept trying to fight him also without cheesing. Cheesing meaning like, pushing him off or shooting him so he staggers and just falls off and dies. I wanted to fight him for real. And so there I was, like, dodging and like getting him
New
down
layer.
to low health, and he uses a blood vial so his health is all the way up
Use
again.
these layers.
And I'm like, I got him. And so I go off to
Fight
the corner
hits.
because you're on top of a really small
Right
roof.
here.
And he gets
Get a
behind one of
dart.
the pillars and like tries to attack and just falls off and dies. And I'm like, what? I'm not done with you. Come back. What? And once he's dead, you can't fight him again. So
This is
I don't know, maybe my
definitely
next run,
dark right
I'll
here.
try to do it.
Get my brush. See that spot right there? Enough. I don't want to overdo
There's
it
something about
because this is turning in on
this
itself.
hunched over,
I want to
bent
make it look
over
like
kind
that.
of vibes going on in my
I
drawings.
see her lips
today.
are a little open. I'm not even gonna attempt to try
Too
to
much
do that.
Bloodborne.
I'd be
Welcome,
overstaying my
Hunter.
welcome if I did. Push this core shadow a little bit softer. Way too dark.
Yeah.
Add the highlight. Again, just so this is being pulled out. I see that crease in her lip. Maybe I can get something in there that can tell you there's a crease there. Bring this down. Nice. And I push that bottom lip in. Cutting in on itself.
Gotta say, you know, I've studied the skull before, and I think that's certainly what has given me an edge over not knowing the skull for drawing faces and painting heads. But studying it again a little bit more in depth really makes a difference.
I kept this line.
It's like really knowing what's under there as opposed to trying to guess where stuff goes on the surface. Has a huge impact on your art. It's definitely one of the foundations that are unfortunately overlooked. And my fear about the course that I want to do and the things I want to teach is, and I understand, but most people I feel want to just skip and jump.
My
to
Discord, I
being able
got
to
you.
do
I
the
will
magical
drop the
looking
link.
stuff. You know, the perfect golden egg ideal. But you know, there's so much that's required to
I
put
will
in
drop the link right
ahead
now.
of time as a foundation for the brick wall that you want to make. Otherwise, it'll just fall apart. You know, like understanding the skull.
Ad.
And, you know, there are obvious examples of very
Server boost, server setting.
very
Is
good
it the
artists
server
out there
settings?
who kind of skip to it.
Invites.
Just make, you know, pretty portraits.
Bro, where was
nice
it? I could have
lighting,
swore.
Nice.
My bad. I feel
Glue
like I should
effects
know
and
this
all that.
already, but like, no, look at every time. There it
You know,
is.
coming
It's right
from,
there.
like,
It's
a
like, bro,
2D
Woody, what are you
background or
doing?
something. You know, drawing anime, etc., comics, which is fine.
That's not like.
But even if you're coming from that, studying
Why is it
the
doing that?
foundations will only make that stuff better.
Server invite. Server invite.
I guess I could sort of equate that to music. So, you know, I play guitar, and I have since, I guess, 2006. And I've never learned how to read music.
Why is it doing that? That's weird.
I'm pretty decent at
Edit
guitar,
invite link.
but if you ask me to read
Never.
music or tell you what time
Generate new
signatures
link.
are and all that,
Copy.
I don't know. And I'm sure if I did read
Why
music,
is
studied
it doing
classical
that? For
music,
some reason,
and
it's not
tried to
letting
do
me.
Paganini on guitar.
It keeps saying hidden use
that
copy
I'd get much
button.
better. But since I do just treat it as a hobby, I'm not
That
too
fucking
interested.
sucks.
And I'm very, very satisfied.
That is
with,
weird. How about you give me your Discord and then I'll add you.
just doing it as a therapeutic experience and pick up the guitar, sing a song or two, and get back to drawing. But if I wanted to pursue music as something more, wanting to master it,
But try putting it in the
or be
description.
proficient
Alright.
at some higher level things, I know that I would have to read music or learn to read it, or at least understand time signatures and understanding different.
It still
keys
says
and
hidden
octaves and all
use
that.
copy button. Like, bro, I am using
And if
the
you do
copy
come from
button.
a music background, you know what I'm talking about. And you might even think, hey, that's just easy stuff. It'll take not too long to learn it. Well, maybe not. And I'm sure there are some things that are
Weird.
so complex.
It's never
that
done this
it
before.
takes
Like it's always
decades
just
of
worked.
understanding music theory. But I guess what I'm saying is, if you want to treat art like a hobby and not something that you want to master into a sense of proficiency, then yeah, maybe you don't have to learn the foundations
Ah,
entirely.
okay. Yeah,
That's fine.
yeah,
But
near
if
underscore
you
knife.
do,
Got you, bro.
then you got to know the skull. You got to understand how light works. You got to know perspective.
Near
Well, I mean,
1997.
obviously, depending on what it is that you want to learn, not everything needs perspective. Not everything needs lighting. If you want to do just flat artwork and 2D shapes, that's perfectly fine too.
I gotta figure out why it's doing that. Alright, let's invite. Is it the near underscore knife or the other one?
I'm gonna finish up this sketch and then call it a wrap.
Okay,
Call it a
near.
day.
So it's not near knife.
Wrap it up.
What is going on with my thing right now? Thank you. Near. Okay, so near number. Near. Found. There's no results found. This is way harder than it needs to be. Just do you have an Instagram? I'll follow you on Instagram. And then you can send it to me on Instagram if you want. This is getting way more work than it needs to be. I don't know why. That is weird that it's doing that. No, oh, that sucks. Damn, I'm sorry, bro. My name it's WillyOArt. It's WillyOArt everywhere. Oh wait, on Discord? Or excuse me. You're saying you had a Discord? If not, this is my Instagram. Discord. Man, that is annoying. I really want to know why it's doing that.
All right.
Oh, okay, so
That's
Discord.
it's enough for now.
Alright, so this video is done. That means I've been. How do I? I'm not the best with these. I guess it's my server name is WillyOArt server. I want to know how Dev does it. All right. IP. These are just. Oh wait. Oh no, it's still. Man, this sucks, bro. I don't know why it's doing this. Patient. Invite people. Search. Near. Found. No results found. Near underscore knife. No results found. Yeah. Hmm. I will figure this out. What the? Yeah. Is it not popping up for you too? Is it still messing with you? Man, this really sucks. Search. No. Is the universe telling us something? Server settings, create channel, create app notification, privacy settings, edit server profile. Yeah, that is so weird. Just so you don't think I'm lying. You look on that bottom left, I'm a server invite. What? Now it's showing? What the heck? What just happened? Why is it showing now? Hold on, let me see. Is it because I was on the wrong screen? That is weird. Now it's showing, bro. What just happened? What is that? I would like to know what the hell just happened. Appreciate you for joining the Discord, bro. Yo, that is crazy. Hmm. So if you see, I have a lot of uh channels. If you go under the long, not the long drawing, but the let's share, that's where we all share our art. You can share it there. Man, that is crazy. I don't like how it just did that to me. I don't like how it just did that to me. Let me see something. Bro, that is crazy. All right, well, let's figure it out now. Appreciate you stopping by, man. I will take a look at oh, never mind. You just posted it. Oh, this is beautiful, bro. Give me some homework. Um, homework. Bro, this looks fire, bro. And you did this in an hour. I think if you took it to a finish, like if you gave it 3, 4, 5 more hours, the reference is great too. The values are good. What I would say if you really would want homework is trace over her face on the image because it looks like you did it digitally. So trace over her face on the image and then see like the simple shapes. Like you see how this nose is really just this right here, and this plane of the head is like this. If you can just see these simple shapes and make it so simple that a caveman can do it, because all I'm copying are these shapes. I'm not thinking of drawing a face, I'm thinking of drawing these shapes. If you can do that and then go into the shading, it'd make shading a lot easier. But I would like to see you take this further. I want to see what you can do um like with if you've got like 5 6 hours whatever amount of time you want to put on it. I would love to see you do it and then send it over in the Let's Share again, and then we could talk about it. I'll be streaming soon too, like maybe tomorrow for sure. So if you've got time tomorrow, definitely send it over. With that, my girlfriend is calling. Later, bro. I appreciate you stopping by, man. It really means a lot that I had somebody to draw with. See you tomorrow, hopefully. Ooh, 15 views. Oh.